Yes, I caved in and I bought a pair of race shoes I definitely did not need. This is what happens when you cannot sleep and you do some online shopping at 3 in the morning. I ended up buying this new pair of Puma Fast-R, which everyone has been talking about for the past few months. And this new colorway, purple, that they launched recently, I was like, oh, that's a bit of me. I absolutely love purple. I thought, right, I'm gonna get these shoes. So I unboxed them yesterday and I put them on just to do a few strides outside on the street because I'm a bit concerned about this heel situation, which is very unusual. And like, one, is this a shoe for me? And two, is this shoe going to break my legs? I could tell instantly as I started to do my strides that I could feel my quads way more than usual. I think they're maybe changing my running form. I might be running more on my front foot rather than my back foot because of the heel. So I'm just hoping it's a case of getting used to it. But today is the moment of truth because I'm going to do a proper session in these shoes. 4x100, 4x400, 2x200. It's not a huge session, but should be enough to get a proper feel for these. And then I will determine whether or not I race the mid-Cheshire 5K on Friday in these shoes, which is kind of my idea, but we'll see how today goes. I'm actually still apprehensive about maybe not being able to complete the session, that I'm going to go to the cycle track so I can bring a bag with me with another pair of shoes, keep it right next to me. So if in the middle of the session these shoes are just really not working out, I'm going to swap, wear another pair of shoes to finish the session. So as of now, that's how little confidence I have in me being able to run in this type of shoe.
First rep done. I really feel like they propelled me forward a lot, almost too much. I feel like I'm like, almost tripping over myself. And I don't feel my quads today, but I do feel my calves a lot. Right, I've done the 4x800 and the first 400 rep. These shoes that are growing on me, I feel a bit more comfortable now, but every time I was taking the hairpin turn at the bottom of this track at pace, I felt super unstable, like sliding on the side of the shoe. I've got 2x200 left to do. I might do an extra few reps, like 4x200, because I'm still not sure about these shoes, I no longer feel my calves, but now I feel my hamstrings. Like I felt every part of my legs at different stages of the session. Cool down now. I am really warming up to these shoes, but would I race in them? I don't know. That's the session done. It was a good session. Ironically, it's only on my last couple reps that I couldn't feel my hamstrings anymore. Like I felt completely fine, much more stable, much more confident in these shoes. I would say the first couple reps, I really felt like Bambi on ice. I wasn't really pushing through my heel. It's going to be hard to compare my paces in these shoes versus other shoes because usually when I do a session in training, I don't wear carbon shoes. So wearing carbon shoes, whether it's these ones or the Adidas Pro 4, that would give me an advantage compared to what I wear usually. And then now usually when I do those sort of reps, it's at the club track session with other people, and I'm always a bit faster when I actually have other people to chase. It's going to be hard to gauge how much of a speed advantage these shoes give me.
Right, so I could still change my mind, but right now I'm thinking I'm gonna take the risk and race the mid-Cheshire 5K on Friday with these Puma shoes. I will probably continue this video after the race so I have a bit more substance for a review. So safe to say I am a lot more enthusiastic about these shoes now that I've run a new 5K PB in them. So I wore them for the mid-Cheshire 5K and did up running 17:52. That was an 18-second 5K PB and my first time going sub 18, completely unexpected, didn't think I had it in me, and I can't help but think that these shoes played a part in that. So the Puma Fast-R Nitro Elite 3 launched a little while ago, earlier this year. It created quite the buzz, mostly because an independent study was conducted showing that this shoe improves running economy by a little over 3%. So for a 3-hour marathoner, that is about a 4.5-minute PB just by wearing this shoe. So the most impressive thing is how incredibly light it is. I read that it is 95 grams lighter than the previous version, which I really wish I had tested so I could really compare, because this is my very first pair of Puma shoes, so I can't really compare, you know, shoe to shoe from the same brand. It's also got a new and improved foam, so the new Nitro Foam Elite is designed for better cushioning and responsiveness. They also revamped the carbon plate, aiming to give it more propulsion, and I can confirm this shoe does propel you forward. If you're wondering which size to get, I went for UK 4, which is the same size as I wear with the On shoes and the Nike shoes, and compared to Adidas, it is half a size down because I am a UK 4.5 in the Adios Pro 4. Now the price stings a bit. £260. I got lucky. I somehow managed to find a discount. Can't remember if it was 10% or 15%. I would have bet that this shoe right now would be excluded from any discount code, but I tried and it applied at checkout and I wasn't mad about it. Now I feel like I've been on a bit of a journey with this shoe in the short time frame that I've had them. So going from unboxing them, putting them on for the first time, doing some strides outside, really feeling super unstable, feeling my quads quite a lot, being like, oh, this is not good. If I had to rate this shoe at that moment, it would have been a 5 out of 10 because I was thinking that this shoe was not made for me and it was potentially gonna make me injured. And then the speed session the next day, in terms of how I felt in these shoes, that was a whole roller coaster in itself. So first few reps, still feeling like Bambi on ice, really. As I mentioned, I really felt like I was going to trip over myself and hit the deck because I felt so propelled forward, almost too much. It was very unusual and I could feel my calves a lot. And yeah, it took me quite a few reps to feel more stable, comfortable and confident running at pace in this shoe. And then came a point where I couldn't feel my calves anymore, but then I started to feel my hamstrings. I think what happened is that at first, because I was really not used to the shape of the shoe, I was running more on my forefoot than usual, so I changed a little bit my running form without being conscious of it, and then it probably, you know, recruited muscles in a different way, so it made me feel a bit sore. And then I guess as I became more confident in this shoe, more used to how they feel, I went back to my usual running form, my usual stride, and then when I raced Friday night, couldn't feel my quads, calves, hamstrings, anything. So at the end of the session, I would have given these shoes maybe a 7.5 out of 10. And of course, after the 5K, a 10 out of 10, at least for racing short distances. This shoe absolutely delivers. I think it's a case of giving it a bit of time to really get used to it and use it to your advantage. This is not a shoe like it was for me for the On Cloud Boom Echo 3, where as soon as I put them on, I felt so good in those shoes and I was like, yeah, this is definitely a race shoe for me. This one takes a bit of time, you know, you need to warm up to it. Also on the bright side, this one doesn't give me any big toe pain, which is an issue I've been having with the Adios Pro 4. Not so much now for my past couple races, but the first few ones, I had to put Compede on my big toes because that piece of fabric that is on the Adios Pro 4 here causes friction and pain, and I've had none of that with this shoe. Now, a couple downsides. So on the website, they said that this shoe has a lifespan of 300 kilometers, and I don't know, it's like, it's not a whole lot. So that's really a pure race shoe. It's not a shoe that you want to be wearing for sessions or anything like that. And then as for my experience running in them so far, the tight corners, this shoe is not so great at it. Personally, that's what I found. When I was at the cycle track, as I mentioned, when I was taking the hairpin turn, the shoe was kind of like collapsing like that. So my foot would go like that as I was taking the turn. So if I were to do a race where I know there will be a lot of tight corners, I don't think I would go for this shoe because that was rather unstable. So what am I going to do with this shoe moving forward? Well, the good news is I know that I can race short distances in these shoes. 5K, absolutely fine. I think 10K would also be absolutely fine. The question mark is over the longer distances. Could I race a half marathon in this shoe? Or would I be having issues, pain, discomfort after the 10K mark, because I mean, I've heard some stories of people running marathons in those shoes and having horrible quad and calf pains and some DNFs and everything. So I'm like, and I don't really want to do a long run workout in these shoes and waste some of their lifespan in training. It would be a bit of a risk, but I am not excluding wearing these shoes for Valencia Half, which is my next goal race. So if you've got these shoes, I would love to hear about your experience. How do you find them, especially if you have raced longer distances in those shoes? Anything over 10K, I would love to know how it went for you and if you would recommend them for a half marathon. And on that note, that is all for my first impression of these shoes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.